Hey everyone, Spartan Snyder here, and today we've got a very important topic to talk about, and that is spoilers for Halo Infinite. Now, the one thing that I enjoy about video games is discovering what they have, especially when it comes to the campaign around Halo, discovering what the developers have intended for us. I don't like spoilers. I detest them. And although I have a YouTube channel that's dedicated to news about Halo, you're not going to find spoilers here. As much as I can, I'm going to keep them out of the content here. I want this to be a spoiler-free channel for Halo Infinite. I want us to be able to go into Halo having the experience that the developers want us to have, having the experience of playing Halo Infinite for the first time, just as if we had played every other Halo game for the first time. I've been able to avoid spoilers, and I'm going to attempt to avoid as many spoilers as possible coming up to the release of Halo Infinite. We still haven't been given a date, and I hope that it's going to come early in 2021, because the longer we wait, the greater their chance is, especially for spoilers. And I have to say, spoilers can sometimes kill a game. We've seen in the past that spoilers can actually cause the devs to rewrite entire portions of a Halo campaign just to make sure that they don't include those into the release of the game. And sometimes the concepts that they have could be even better than what they had to scramble to write in. Alternatively, it could reveal something major that we're supposed to uncover in the campaign that now, because it's been spoiled, we don't get that big aha or eureka moment that we've been waiting for, that holy crap, this person's still alive, or wow, that person died. I mean, it doesn't have the same effect in game, and that's ultimately what the campaign of Halo is about. It's about bringing the emotions back into this sci-fi world, this warfighting game. It's always been an emotional game, from all the way back to Halo Combat Evolved. It's when you finally saw the Halo ring at the end of Combat Evolved completely gone, and you hear Cortana say, "Dust and echoes." It really brings to scale what just happened. Not only did you destroy a 10,000 kilometer Halo ring, but you also killed everyone on the ring. Every Marine that was on the Pillar of Autumn with you, every soldier, and at the time we even thought it was Johnson. Johnson came back in Halo 2 and unfortunately met his demise in Halo 3, but we won't get those moments if we keep having spoilers. And as stated before, the devs can go back and rewrite portions so that those spoilers don't matter. And sometimes what they had intended that could get spoiled could make the game or actually break the game. So it's something that we need to keep in mind whenever we're looking at these games, especially if you're someone that tries to go through and dig through the files. If you want to know yourself, that's fine. And of course, there's people out there that want to know, so releasing it's kind of a gray area. But at the same time, I don't see the point in doing it, because you can ruin the experience for someone else. Because if someone wants to go through and look at maybe the Halo Infinite art that's out there, because there are a lot of creators out there that are making some phenomenal art. And if you haven't seen the new Halo Waypoint article, there is a phenomenal amount of art in there. So someone could just be interested in, surfing through the Halo subreddit, or, logging onto Twitter and scrolling down the feed of Halo just to see what art is available, or what people may be thinking, or theories, or hey, Halo 4's coming out soon, let me get some information on that, and then stumble across a spoiler that they didn't actually want to see. So I don't know. It's a very difficult subject to talk about, because some people want it and some people don't. This channel is going to be spoiler free. I'm going to attempt as much as I can to keep spoilers out of it. Now, if there are little things that have been hidden in plain view for us to find, such as there was that whole thing where we could actually see a reflection in Chief's visor, and it looks like it's just a banished soldier, so it could have been Escharum, but there's really not much to go on right now to say whether it is or is not, so that's kind of left us speculating. So things like that, where they've been left intentionally in plain view, or the Palace of Pain that I have linked in a separate video. If you haven't seen it, I'll have it linked up right over here. Those sort of things, they kind of lend into the lore a little bit, especially the Palace of Pain, because that comes from the Halo books themselves. So things like that, those aren't so bad. And if you haven't read the Halo books, yeah, there might be some spoilers in there, so it's difficult. And I actually got sidetracked by going through and reading a wiki about the created, and I'm not going to talk about it at all, but there was a lot of information there that kind of tied up some loose ends, some questions I had that I was hoping Halo Infinite would have, but at the same time, the devs have already said that this is not a continuation from Halo 5, so there should be other sources that they're going to kind of wrap up, plus a little bit they're going to wrap up in Halo Infinite. It's kind of its own standalone thing. I don't really know what Halo Infinite is going to be. I don't think anyone knows what Halo Infinite is going to be. And I think that the devs had no idea what Halo Infinite was going to be, which is the reason why we're not seeing it released this month. And that's probably for the better. So, actually it's 100% for the better. There's no speculating on it. The amount of work they're still putting into Halo Infinite now shows us that they were not ready to deliver Halo Infinite. And the one thing that I have seen them talk about is releasing the multiplayer separate from the campaign. I talked about it a little bit in a previous video, and I'm going to state here again. My thought process on this is that the game needs to be released complete as is. If they release Halo Infinite separately, multiplayer and campaign that is, I think that they're going to lose a lot of people. Because some people, and we see this especially with like Call of Duty, the vast majority of the player base, they don't care about the campaign. All they want to do is play multiplayer. I happen to enjoy playing the campaigns of games. Now, Call of Duty, at least the most recent one, Modern Warfare, I played it once. I enjoyed it, had a good time, but I haven't played it since. And I've played a little bit of online. I played the Battle Royale, the Warzone mostly, but I don't really play a lot of the online multiplayer stuff. I enjoy Halo purely for the campaign. So, yes, I am biased in my opinion on this. I think that releasing the game separately, multiplayer and campaign separately, is going to hurt the game, especially because this is supposed to be a platform for the next, 10 years, I believe they said. So you would want to make sure that you have your world built first before you start going off and doing multiplayer stuff, because things that they can do in multiplayer will potentially have an impact on what we can see in the campaign, and could be a big spoiler in and of itself just for the campaign. There could be things that they want us to be able to find and discover in the campaign that will relate to multiplayer, but because we have the multiplayer first and we may have several months to play, I mean, we may have 6+ months to play multiplayer. Who knows when they're going to release the campaign if they were to release the multiplayer first. We would have several months to be able to play the multiplayer and learn everything that we might be able to learn. There would be people that would obviously be digging through the files to try to find out as much as possible. So, spoilers galore if they release it, is what I'm trying to say. They need to do it in one go. And I think that the vast majority of the Halo community agrees on this. However, there are some people who have said, well, the multiplayer is basically going to be free to play, so does it really matter? And yes, it does, as I've stated. It does matter, because it could potentially break the game. They could end up focusing so much once the multiplayer is released on tweaking the multiplayer and making it better that they do not set enough time in their development schedule to finish the campaign. And what we could potentially get several months later, if the multiplayer was released first, is a half-assed campaign. And if they give us a half-assed campaign after delaying the launch for 6, 8, 12 more months, it wasn't worth it. It could literally kill the entire Halo franchise if they do it this way. The play that they are attempting to make is a short-term gain in money. Call it how it is. They want to be able to release Halo Infinite multiplayer, they're free to play early, because they're going to include microtransactions in it. There's no reason why they wouldn't include microtransactions, especially if it's free to play. It would be very similar to Fortnite, how you would be able to play the game for free, and you can do everything with the default skins and default weapon skins and stuff like that. But if you want to look cool, now you've got to buy packs, or potentially their own separate in-game currency to allow you to buy the skins that you want, buy the weapon skins, the vehicle skins, the helmets and the armor pieces, because there's a whole new customization system, and we'll talk about that here in a second. They're going to have either an in-game currency, or you have to buy a pack that gives you a chance, similar to the rec system or the rec packs from Halo 5 Guardians, it's just a way for them to make more money until the campaign's released. And it does not incentivize them to focus as much attention as possible on making the best game as possible. Because once they have money coming in from this project, at that point they can kind of kick back and, hey, we got something out, so hey, this is what we got for you, have at it. And then once the money starts kind of rolling in a little bit, they're like, hey, you know what, this is kind of working, we got a little bit of money, we can sit back, we can do our own thing, development slacks. But if we keep the pressure on them, especially if they don't have a way to make money on it, now they have to focus on pouring as much time and resources as they can into making this the best game possible, so that when it does release, we would be willing to spend our money on a game that is worth it. Not only will you pay the $60 for the actual campaign and the continuation, the hub, essentially, for the next 10 years, now you're going to be able to spend your money on their in-game currency, so that way you can make your character, your Spartan, or you may even be a playable elite, I'm not 100% sure, but if there is, you can make your Spartan or your elite look the way you want it to look in-game, to represent you. So, yeah, we've kind of snowballed a little bit. We went from spoilers into the Halo Infinite to the whole different campaign, and yeah. But I did mention we would talk about the customization. I did read a Halo Waypoint article that talked about how they're moving away from the old style of armor customization, and it looks more to me like you'll choose a color palette. You won't be able to choose like 3 separate colors. You'll be able to choose like, hey, we're going to have a, I don't know, we'll call it Razor is what the name's going to be. And it gives you a color customization, and it's these colors they're going to slap on your armor. And then you can choose, hey, we want it to be this pattern. So you can choose the Razor color with the, I don't know, Spitfire pattern on there, and then they throw it on your armor. And then they did announce, which I think is pretty cool, we're going to have a very similar armor customization that we saw in Halo Reach, where you can customize individual pieces of your armor. So head, legs, each arm, chest, the whole kit and caboodle, essentially. You'll be able to make it look how you want it to look. How we're going to get those armor pieces is yet to be seen. It could be through the Master Chief Collection season pass sort of system, where as you gain levels, you get points to unlock in your season pass, and you can progress and go from there. It could be similar to Halo 5 Guardians with rec packs. I don't exactly remember if they talked about it in the article, because I kind of skimmed through some of it, but that's what customization is going to be like. And we actually got a taste of what some of that looks like if you go back and you look at the monster packs that they released, and actually I'll throw them up on screen. If you look at the monster pack right here, you can see that they're just a skin slapped onto the weapon or the vehicle or the armor. So this is their new way of doing things. It's a very Fortnite feel, unfortunately. It is what it is. For better or worse, Fortnite's changed the way that game developers make games because of how successful it was. So that's where we're at. It's unfortunate. I'm really hoping this doesn't kill Halo, because it's one of my favorite games. And I know that if you're watching this, it's probably one of your favorite games as well. And if you haven't played it and you're watching this, you definitely need to find someone that has it. With that said, I think we're going to try to wrap things up. Remember, the new Xboxes are coming out this month, November 10th. They're launching. I've got a video on that. Link to that's going to be down in the description. Go ahead and watch it if you're interested in getting a new console. And yeah, I think that's going to do it. Thanks for watching the video today, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you like the content, leave it a like. Get subscribed. Hit that bell icon, and I'll let you know when I post new videos. I hope to see you in the next one. Take care, Spartans.